Hello and welcome to the Daily Dominion for July 22nd, 2025. We've got an all allies kingdom. This time we're actually supposed to have all allies, as opposed to the last couple times we've had monoset kingdom days. We got modify. It's the only trashing. We've got draw from hunter clashes and I guess so specifically battle plan warlord, and then distant shore. Also royal galley is essentially duration draw, plus actions from royal galley specialist. And then, I guess also contract gains from specialist, modify, bauble. And we've got cave dwellers for some cycling. And we've got the whole clashes situation, where we would like to control the warlords if possible, so that we can play with as many copies of whatever as we want to, but will that be possible? Well, I guess we'll see. Do we want to use cave dwellers turn 1? So we're definitely going to want to get a battle plan. We also kind of want to get an old map. Potentially we end up doing both of those things regardless of whether you use the cave dwellers or not. The main thing, yeah, I'm not at all sure, actually. So the main thing that cave dwellers, so we do that turn 1. It's going to trigger a shuffle, and then if the bot doesn't open battle plan, we have the potential to rotate off of it before they get the opportunity to pick one up. We also get a couple of short shuffles, right? Where like our turn 2 hand has 4 cards, and then we get one off the top, and then our turn 3 hand thus is only consists of the other 5 cards in the deck. 5 cards because we'll have gained a card. And then that means most likely, like, or actually, I guess it's guaranteed. Yeah, regardless of whether we suit turn 2 or turn 3, will trigger another shuffle. So yeah, there's that. The flip side is that doing all that is not really going to help us hit 5 for modify, which, as mentioned, is the only trashing. And having one battle plan, while we can potentially keep the bot from taking a battle plan, we can't necessarily super control the warlords that way. I mean, we could choose to just not play with warlord, leave archer on top, and sort of do that. And that, I guess that is advantageous. So I guess that is worth considering. The other line, I think, would be to just open battle plan old map. Old map, they're it's still not that likely to hit 5, but again, we would be sifting a fair amount. We could use the Cave Dwellers token a little bit later to do some more, and then beyond that, like, it should not be hard for us to hit like 4 for an archer, for example, and then use that to hit modify, or something along those lines. Yeah, I think against a human opponent, I wouldn't even really be considering the possibility like, oh, they're not going to get a battle plan. I have seen the bot skip it. I think I'm going to. Well, what if we open old map? The other thing is, I guess if we Cave Dwellers turn 2, we still trigger that shuffle. If we're to open old map, then trigger the shuffle. First of all, if we top deck a copper, which is a decent chance we would do, we would just hit 5 that way. Second of all, if we see old map in particular, then see an estate. Cave Dwellers discard a card and then draw a card. So actually, yeah, if we trigger the shuffle turn 2, the estate goes into the shuffle. So it's only 50-50 to see a copper. If we see old map, then we have a pretty good chance of hitting 5. We have a 50-50 chance if we don't see it, and if we do see it, I think it's a little bit better, because then, like, even if we see a copper and have to discard a copper, we still have a chance to see another copper, and if we see a state, we can discard a state, and then we have a better chance. So there's that line, and then if we don't hit 5, we can still pick up the battle plan or something along those lines. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. Okay, the bot also gets old map. All right, well, we'll just get the battle plan here then. I don't really want to voyage right now, because I want to get to modify as mentioned. So yeah, galley looks pretty reasonable. Getting another underling for more cave dwellers would also be reasonable, but I think I'll take the galley. So we can get another battle plan here. I think I'd like to do that. Being able to galley a battle plan actually potentially gives us some nice control over the stuff. Yeah. I think now we do take an archer. They get the modify. So how many estates did we see last turn? 1 estate. So this should be another estate. So if we trigger the shuffle with old map, we have to discard a state into the shuffle. We have a chance to reveal archer with battle plan. Alternatively, We just play the battle plan, then we trigger the shuffle with the old map. We discard a state. Not into the shuffle. The question is, do we rotate to Warlord? We're definitely not guaranteed to hit 5. So I think the answer is no. And I think I prefer a line that doesn't involve discarding into the shuffle. The odds of our battle plan finding our archer are pretty low anyway. Okay, we did hit 5, but that's fine. We can take a modify. Do we want to keep states around to modify into useful pieces? I am not sure. Like, we're not going to do it this turn because we're going to play the archer. I think the answer is yes. Well. We still have one estate. I mean, be happy enough to take another royal galley. Or an underling or another old map. Yeah. Okay. Let's take another galley, I think. They've already got a third galley, which... We do have another estate down there, so we're probably not going to hit 5 again. All right. I think I would like underling now. Probably old map. I can discard battle plan either way, and probably will. Yeah. Hang it. I have been kind of ignoring Voyage here. I'm reluctant to get into Voyage without knowing where the Warlord situation is going. I think I'm going to take more old map. Okay, so I think we go ahead and Cave Dwellers. Somehow we redrew our estate. Which means we're by no means guaranteed to even come close to hitting 5. Man, this is obnoxious. Do we want to play around the Warlord that our opponent does not have? Maybe a little bit. Take another Royal Galley. We could take another Archer. I'm going to take the Galley. But I will take another Underling over another old map. Gonna say old map. I want to Galley the Underling just so that I get the increased odds of lining up Battle Plan with Archer. There we go. Okay, we're gonna get to Archer them. What do they have in play? I can't see the... What? Why can't I see that? Archer? Ugh. We do have another... And they have 3 favors as well. They're super likely to be able to get a Warlord if we go for that. But they also already have 3 Hunters and 3 Galleys. I think we need to. What did we have Galley? The Underling? Right. Let's say the Galley. Yeah. Alright, I think this is good enough. Guess I'll do this. We don't quite have enough money to modify into Warlord and buy Warlord. Now we still don't. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about modifying the Underling. We still don't. Damn it. Yeah, I think we're just taking another galley. We're not going to be able to keep playing this many galleys. That's the thing. But hopefully our... Oh, I gotta protect the hunter because I got 2. Why can I not see what cards I have set aside? That is so obnoxious. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 2 battle plans. Battle plan, battle plan. Yeah. So Archer, pretty important to hang on to. They did get the Warlord. Damn it! Ah. Okay. What now? I'm going to get a couple of specialists and a couple of hunters, and I guess maybe a couple of barbarians. You maybe only want to galley 1 time this turn and start. I guess we could also get another modify. We want to start rotating towards distant shore. Modify galley, the excess galleys into distant shores. Seems like a reasonable thing to do. Right, I don't think we need to spend any favors this turn. Galley old map or underling? Probably old map. I want to try to take a distant shore this turn. That is our modify. So we don't have to decide now. We have an underling and an estate down there. We could modify into modify. It's a little bit awkward though. We could also use some plus buy. With 7 coins, we'd still have 7 coins. We could get a bauble. Obviously playing that. Probably want to galley the modify. Oh no, wait, no, we're not playing the galley. Never mind. I think what I really wish I could do is modify I wish I had a specialist. That's what I want to say. I think the way to go here, let's see, if we get a specialist but we have the modify on the galley, then we don't get to specialist the modify next turn, which I think is what I want to do. So I think what we do is we modify copper to bauble. Galley. We have an old map gallied already. guess there's nothing wrong with having another one. Do we want another bauble? Maybe not. Maybe we just go like favor top deck. All right, so we have, I think I'm gonna protect this specialist. Make sure we can line that stuff up. It is unfortunate to lose the battle plan, but we have one estate left. Do we want to hang on to it? I guess might as well just like wait until the second discard at the very least. No reason to rotate this now. We have been warlorded. Okay, good to know. How does... I guess a galleed card... I hadn't thought about this, but a galleed card is set aside and then isn't, like, in play exactly until the next turn. I don't know if that helps at all. It probably doesn't. I think I am going to hang on to the estate. We might as well cycle a bit. We got plenty of favors. Make sure we find... Okay, we're going to Galleon Underling. And then... thinking like we specialist on modify, turn like estate into Underling. And then gain a modify and then galley to distant shore or something along those lines. Maybe we do discard the estate. I just really want to find that battle plan. Okay, well, we essentially have found it, so... Wait, we did have 2 galleys in play? Why the fuck do we have 2 galleys in play? I thought I didn't... Oh, I meant not to play those, and I still screwed it up. Alright. Well... Oh, no, wait, this doesn't... Oh, shoot. Alright, we gotta play the Underling first. And then we gotta... Oh, damn it. Oh, I really screwed this up. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to... rotate this. We're going to not gain another modify. We're going to specialist the modify. Gain 2 distant shores. rotate off of it. And it would be nice to get another specialist. It would also be nice to get a hunter. Maybe favor is better than top deck, given like duration draw plus sifting plus archer attack. I think that's probably the case. Now that we have the distant shore, I think we do want to really want to have a hunter in the deck. So let's do that. All right, now we got to remember to only play one galley this turn. Okay. How many favors do we want to spend? Enough to at least activate the battle plan, I guess. We can. Okay. And now we want to galley the distant shore, I think. We're going to rotate back to the other distant shore, probably. But I guess we can wait on that a little bit. I'm not going to galley this underling, so we can play that first. What do we want to turn into distant shore, I guess, is the problem. We don't have the excess galleys anymore. I mean, I guess we could turn a galley into a distant shore, and then we could turn an estate into a galley, because we're not going to play the other galley anyway, and then buy the other distant shore. That seems like a good approach. It is worth noting we can't actually play 4 distant shores, but we can turn them into provinces. But maybe that's a reason not to even bother taking the other distant shores. And I'm not sure why I wasn't thinking about that. Okay, what do we do instead? We've got 2 battle plans. We don't want that. We should, if anything, yeah, we should probably leave the distant shores on the bottom. Territory isn't very good right now. So that's fine to leave on the top. Yeah, I'll just not rotate, I guess. Gain another hunter. Specialist. Maybe this turn we're not looking to get plus actions. We just play Terminal Archer, Cantrip or Modify. Seems reasonable. Cool. I do kind of want this underling. Even the Modify is going to be lower value anyway. I think I'm going to take it. We have a hunter and a bunch of estates down there and a modify. I guess I'll trigger. Alright, we have to remember not to play the galley. I'm expecting to see one of those estates here. What do they have in play? One galley. They can't play two galleys anyway. I guess this is favored top deck when we take another specialist. I would like the hunter and the specialist and the battle plan. This is our galley card. Distant shore, right? I guess I'm going to protect the specialist. Buying gold. Okay. We don't have an attack. We do have a bunch of good cards. I think I'm actually just going to leave this here. We could galley a specialist, or we could just galley distant shore and then specialist. Any other modify would be good. Well, we're not going to galley underling, right? So let's just play that. There we go. I think I'm just going to galley distant shore. So we have 5 estates in our deck. It would be good to find some to trash with this modify. It would also be good not to play old map until we trigger the shuffle. Possible. Maybe not possible, but... Specialist, specialist. First play, double play hunter. Second play, double play modify. Seems reasonable. There's nothing we particularly want to gain right now with specialist. So... There we go. We could also just double play. Oh, wait. No, we wanted to gain a copy of modify. We don't have a second modify. I'm saying we don't, there's nothing really we want to gain, but that's not true. Okay. So let's do... I'll just take a royal galley and then plan to trash that into a gold. I wonder if we should rotate to archer. Royal galleys are almost empty. I don't really want to give the bot territories in that context. And Archer also gives us another 4 cost that we can gain. There's also this situation. The bot does have an old map, but only the one. So it won't be able to like rotate to distant shore by itself. Yeah, let's do this. And this. Oh, wait. I screwed this up. I should have double rotated clashes. Yeah, never mind. We're not rotating the clashes. I should double rotate the clashes with the battle plans, then used old map to rotate this, but I just sort of blanked on that. But whatever. This is still maybe an improvement. I don't know. Okay, so we didn't actually find that galley yet. Let's see if we can. Nope. Well, how many galleys do they have in play? 1. Oh, they have both of their warlords in play. I didn't even notice that. I think I'm still gonna check the modify. Okay, so could turn a state into voyage. I think we might as well. So contract does get around the warlord, but only in the sense that it allows you to play like that copy of the card. It still like then puts it into play such that additional copies are going to get blocked. So it doesn't really help that much. I mean, like what you could do, you know, you could have like 10 contracts and 10 hunters, then you could play like each turn you could play 5 contracts. Wait, no, that isn't even. Yeah. It is. It's set aside, not played. So you would play the contract, set aside the hunter, and then you get 5 hunters at the start of every turn. So like there is some deck control to be had there in theory. So we could do that. We could like aim for that. We could also just take a barbarian, which will make our battle plans more likely to activate. We haven't been having too much trouble with that anyway, but the barbarian attack could be effective. We could dress their warlords, that'd be nice. I think I don't know if I actually want to top deck a barbarian. Just took it because I don't need the coin anyway. But I think I'm going to get a barbarian. Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to top deck that. We do also need to be cognizant. We have extra royal galleys in our deck, so I think I protect distant shore. They're probably going to discard the galley. Nope, the hunter. Okay, well, then we can galley distant shore again. We do need to be cognizant of the fact that estates are draining because we're playing distant shore. So, like, there's actually 2 low piles, and the hunter is actually low as well. And they're, like, getting even more of those, even though they're under warlord attack, which is weird, but okay. It's not... Is it? I wonder if it's possible for me to win this turn, actually. We play 1 more distant shore. There's 2 estates left. 1 galley and 3 hunters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gains. We have 2 modifies. and 2 buys. That's 4 gains. And then we have 2 specialists. That's 2 gains. So in principle, yes. Lining it all up might be a bit of a trick. But we do kind of want to see the additional royal galley so that we can line it up with a modify. Yeah, I think we do just go for it here. We also have the voyage. It is more important to see like an attack in our deck than to see the thing that we want to turn into something else. We could just discard like the underling or something, knowing that. But I guess that doesn't accomplish any. Well, it accomplishes something if we draw a copper and then or an estate and then discard that. But All right, I'm just gonna galley distant shore again. Oh, we're not under warlord attack. Oh, okay. Well, does that actually matter? Probably not. But it does mean that discarding that galley was kind of pointless. All right. We definitely do not need territory. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do last time. Rotate to Archer. Okay, so we specialist. First specialist play plays hunter, gains hunter. Second specialist play probably double plays modify. But maybe we draw another hunter. It's not very likely. It'd be more likely if we played old map first. Maybe that's worth it. Despite, well, I mean, we can easily modify into the hunters. If we double play a modify, the thing, I guess, we don't have another distant shore to play. So, like, the goal is to, like, buy 2 estates. Right, we have another modify. So, yeah, this should be fine regardless. So we modify state to galley and voyage. I guess maybe we keep the voyage. Like, in case we're just a little bit short, we can just play the voyage and buy a state. That makes sense. Barbarian to hunter. We should have it. Oh, we don't have the bauble in hand. Okay, so we don't have it in hand yet. Now we do. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so modify voyage to hunter. Well, slow clashes game as it usually is. Bot started going more for golds. I think there's a couple things here. I wasn't, like, it's really hard to like definitively be like, yes, I will control the warlords, which is of course what I wanted to do, but I do think it was correct. Like, the bot did not play around warlord early, so I do think it's correct for me to go for that, even though I was also getting hit by it because I was accounting for it from the outset. Obviously modify alleviates that to some extent, but the bot still like had basically spent the entire game with too many hunters, too many galleys. It never got any battle plans, which seems like a huge loss of draw. It didn't get a second old map. That's not such a big deal, but like, I definitely had better deck control, despite taking the estates from Distant Shore. Of course, Distant Shore itself is a draw card, so like that part is good, but I was taking these extra estates, and that did, obviously hinder my draw somewhat, but I was still reliably basically seeing all the important cards in my deck. Cave Dwellers helped with that too, of course. The bot like went in for that earlier, but then did not get a second underling. It did get a bunch of baubles. I wasn't really paying attention to how many favors it was taking off of that and how many favors it was spending per turn to line things up. I did like having a bauble in my deck because like getting a few extra favors here and there and top decking was nice, but mostly I don't think copper into bauble is like the most relevant thing to be doing. Like, and I basically never used the plus buy until right at the end of the game. Just didn't have that much money in the deck. But yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly about the deck control. It took us a while to get there. We did eventually get like 2 specialists and 2 modifies. The bot did get hunters before I did. Though, like, hunter is going to do the best job at helping you see your deck in conjunction with having the second old map, because hunter isn't going to help you see more action cards. It's just going to help you like get some of the crud into your hand, and then you can use old map to cycle the crud out in favor of better cards. Yeah. But I guess also like the Distant Shore thing. I mean, I mentioned like that is draw, but also just like, even though estates are not cards you generally want in your deck, the way that Distant Shore tends to work, it tends to work out that you get some, I mean, it depends on the board, of course, but you get, generally like move towards deck control before you can even have access to Distant Shore, and then by the time you take it, you generally, you have enough deck control that you're better equipped to handle the estates than you would be like at the start of the game. And, obviously sometimes you do have things like modify, you turn the estates into something, whatever, but either way, like having a few estates plus the points from Distant Shore, if your opponent doesn't have those things, like that's lowering a pile, and putting you in a position where you potentially have a points lead. And that's, that's what played out here, is that like, obviously, I didn't per se need the points that I had already accumulated, because like the 2 points that I took the last turn would have been enough by themselves, but the estates wouldn't have been so low and I would not have been able to pile out. How much of a problem is that? I mean, I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been a huge problem. The bot was like better positioned to specifically modify into provinces. But I think I still would have been in a good spot like otherwise, and I was setting myself up for that, like with the excess royal galleys and the voyage. The idea is like, okay, we're going to modify those to golds or territories, whatever, and then modify into province. Like I think I would have been able to compete on that if I'd needed to, but being in the position where we can like strike, this way obviously is nice when it doesn't, cause you to just your deck to brick, and here there's like enough draw and enough sifting and trashing and all that to make it work. And I find that is generally the case with Distant Shore. Like it is actually like just a surprisingly good card, considering that it is a 6-cost card on the bottom of a split pile that junks you. You would expect like, well, that doesn't sound very good, but actually like it is a good card, and I often prioritize getting it. And I think yeah, that was one of the contributing factors here. I wouldn't necessarily say it was the contributing factor. Probably the most important thing was that I had 2 battle plans and the bot didn't. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.